If you close your eyes and recall the image of an Indian Railways train, it is more or less has not changed over the years. So that was the start and end of the story. इतनी अच्छी टीम मिल गई, उनके अंदर भी ये जज्बा था कि कोई एक नई ट्रेन बनाई जाए. तो उसके बाद सिर्फ ये देखना था कि मेरी और मेरे और जो अफसर थे उनकी लीडरशिप में कोई रोड़े ना आ पाए और उनको ऐसा एनवायरनमेंट अफोर्ड किया जाए कि ये काम वो जल्दी से जल्दी कर सकें. You have the capability, you know you can do it, but this kind of train has never been built, never been designed. So the natural question was that you will retire, train may fail or not work, so who will be the scapegoat?
Right. Welcome to the Raj Smriti show. Today we'll talk all about railways. हम सभी की कुछ ना कुछ यादें जुड़ी हुई है इंडियन रेलवेज से. सुनहरे बचपन की यादें, ट्रैवलिंग की यादें. एंड टुडे वी हैव नन अदर देन फादर ऑफ Vande Bharat Express, Mr. Sudhanshu Mani. Welcome, sir. It's an absolute honor to have you. And the way you have transformed the Indian Railways, it's truly amazing, you know. ऐसे जब हम बचपन की याद करते हैं तो हमें वो लाल डिब्बा और नीला डिब्बा ही याद आता है. But since your tenure, the way you have done things is totally amazing. So tell us about Vande Bharat Express.
First of all, it's my pleasure and बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका. वंदे भारत के बारे में आप जानना चाह रही हैं तो देखिए, ये कहानी एक तरह से शुरू होती है when I was a teenager.
Wow.
Maybe a little earlier. I'm talking of late 60s and early 70s. I come from a railway family.
Okay.
So my father was in railways, so we used to travel in luxury, saloons and all that. But nevertheless, because I was from a railway family and I was interested in trains and I used to count the stations and things like that, and various trains when they would cross each other, things like that. But we used to get magazines, railway magazines from Japan and Europe and other countries. And I would look at those trains and wonder when India is going to have a modern train which looked like a European or a Japanese
train. Very true.
So if you close your eyes and recall the image of an Indian Railways train, it is more or less has not changed over the years. You are young, but even people older than you would say that the recall has more or less remained the same box type train. Some more AC coaches have come, but not much change in the image.
Very true, and because it's been running since ages, it's still the same. And the modern trains that have come, they are on specific routes. So, you know.
No, I'm talking of even what you are calling modern trains, perhaps would also fall in the same category of the same image, because by and large, a box structure image.
Right.
So that was some kind of an angst, and you can also say some kind of a dream which remained with me when I joined railways. So I was a junior officer and busy with whatever work was given in maintenance or management and so on. It remained an angst and a dream. It was stuck in various departmental wranglings and so on. There was discussion that we have such a large network and a large pool of engineers, so why can we not design our own train which is modern, aesthetically superior, technologically superior, speedier? But it always got boiled down in these internecine warfare.
The politics that goes on.
The politics and so on. I was also part of it. I was not above it. But still, I used to say that you can't stop a good thing. You can delay it. In 2016, 2.5 years, exactly 29 months before my superannuation, I got a chance to be thrown up as a general manager A general manager is like an institution in railways.
Right.
That's a post one looks up to. कि जब GM बनेंगे तब ये काम करेंगे. That kind of thing. People like to go to open line. Like Lucknow लीजिए तो it's like Northern Railway.
Right.
It's a big domain, almost a fiefdom. Whereas 4-5 factories भी हैं जहाँ GM होते हैं. It's a smaller domain. People don't really prefer to go there. But I requested for going to Integral Coach Factory, the largest factory of Indian Railways,
which is in Chennai.
Which is in Chennai. And I was readily afforded that posting. So to cut a long story short, after I landed there, then I found that the staff and engineers there were really a committed lot, which had over the years through transfer of technology and so on, had learned quite a lot. They had this boredom, they had ennui written all over their forehead of doing more of the same. Same उसी तरह ढर्रे की ट्रेनें बनाते, वो boredom था.
So I think वो भी कहीं ना कहीं थक गए थे and they were looking for
in a way bored, and but they had that chutzpah, that technical audacity to do something, try something
new and different.
तो मेरा काम सिर्फ ये था कि इस एनर्जी को चैनलाइज किया जाए. So that was the start and end of the story. इतनी अच्छी टीम मिल गई, उनके अंदर भी ये जज्बा था कि कोई एक नई ट्रेन बनाई जाए. तो उसके बाद सिर्फ ये देखना था कि मेरी और मेरे और जो अफसर थे उनकी लीडरशिप में कोई रोड़े ना आ पाए और उनको ऐसा एनवायरनमेंट अफोर्ड किया जाए कि ये काम वो जल्दी से जल्दी कर सकें. और वो मेन उस समय मुद्दा हो गया, उसको हम लोग कर पाए.
And I think you were the one who conceptualized it and you were the one who delivered it in a very short span.
जी, सबसे बड़ी बात वो थी. वो इसलिए कि देखिए वैसे तो GMs have been empowered quite a lot.
Right.
इंडियन रेलवेज के वो सारे पैसे जितने चाहे खर्च कर सकता है किसी प्रोजेक्ट में. पर चूंकि ये एक नई टाइप की ट्रेन कंसेप्चुलाइज हो रही थी, जो मतलब इसमें कोई लोकोमोटिव इंजन जिसको कहते हैं नहीं होगा, केवल एंड में 2 कैब होंगी और बाकी सारी फ्लोर के ऊपर जगह पैसेंजर्स के लिए होगी. सारा इक्विपमेंट ट्रेन चलाने के लिए फॉर एयर कंडीशनिंग, होटल लोड, लाइटिंग, एवरीथिंग वुड बी अंडर द बोर्ड.
Okay.
And you can go from one cab to the other through a sealed gangway, not like the rickety vestibule that we have in our trains today. And it will run at 180 kilometers per hour for testing, and in commercial operation at 160 kilometers per hour. So to design and build a train of this nature would require railway board ministry's approval. तो उसमें थोड़ा वक्त लग गया हम लोग को. नेगेटिविटी थी, लोग सोच रहे थे ये they are only trying to spin a yarn, and they are trying to spin a yarn. They would come in way of imports and so on. So it took time. Finally, when we got the sanction, it was already April of 2017, and I was retiring in December of 2018, giving us 21 months. So a project of this magnitude usually takes anywhere between 36 to 42 months from concept, ideation to concept, to design, to engineer, to manufacture, to test, validate. Yeah, pura process, if done properly, but we did not have the luxury because all my staff members, officers, they said that if we don't turn out the train before you retire, then who knows, project may get abandoned.
Right.
So I said, you're right. We will burn our midnight oil and do something which has never been done earlier. And that is to start the work and deliver the train before I retire. That is 21 months. Fortune favors the brave. It so happened that the train actually got delivered in October of 18 in exactly 18 months.
18 months. Wow.
We called it Train 18 because we wanted everyone to be aware, and I'm talking of April 17, that the train must go out of ICF in the calendar year 2018.
18.
It did that, but it also did it in 18 months, so living up to its name.
Both the names. Very true, very true. So, I'm sure it took your entire life experience for this dream project. So, probably God had chosen you for this, and right from your teenage years, you were being prepared to, work on this kind of project. So other than, burning your midnight oil and having the best team, if you could tell us few other challenges that you faced or what kind of research was required, so that given your experience, if somebody else now wants to, go a step further in making some other kind of train, what should they do? The key pointers that they should keep in mind if they have this kind of dream.
Actually, that's not so difficult, very simple.
Okay.
You see, we always look for a complex solution for a simple problem. In my view, it's all simple problem which needs only simple answers. Number one, government, particularly, and it has rubbed off on private sector also, is the legacy of our colonial past, in which we have a lot of hierarchy, protocol, propriety, boundaries, walls, and so on. That openness, that empathy is missing. So if you're going to lead people, and if you want to extract 110, 120% more than what they are capable of, you have to start with empathy and love.
Yeah, very true.
आपने सुना होगा जिगर मुरादाबादी का हमारा बड़ा मेरा फेवरेट शेर है, बट इम्प्लीकेशन बड़ा है. एक लफ्ज से मोहब्बत का अदना ये फसाना है. This word love has a very brief story. एक लफ्ज से मोहब्बत का अदना ये फसाना है, सिमटे तो दिले आशिक और फैले तो जमाना है.
Wow, beautiful. That shows your love for poetry and writing and all of it.
Yeah, love for poetry is one, but the sentiment is more important.
Yeah.
So that helped because there's no time to go into the measures, but measures based on breaking these boundaries between the administered and the so-called administrators was very important, and that helps you get much more out of those people than they would otherwise deliver.
Right.
Number two, again a legacy from the colonial past, is trust. You see, when Indians started coming in positions of power and authority, Britishers never thought that Indians can be trusted.
Right.
That was their narrative.
Yeah.
So a lot of checks, balances, audits, rule, regulation, this, that. 70 years after independence, we have not shed that system.
Yeah.
So the government system work in an environment of mistrust and distrust.
Right.
Has it reduced corruption? No. After independence, it's common knowledge that corruption has actually gone up.
Gone up, very true.
The system that we copied from the Britishers has failed. It's time that we give trust a chance.
Yeah.
Just a small example. For example, there are two officers called the Chief Design Engineer, Mechanical and Electrical, whose team would design the train.
Right.
And who would also decide what to procure. Sub-assemblies and components and parts from whom.
Right.
So I told them that your word is final. Above you, the HOD, the GM, the finance, the stores, all other agencies are mere signatories. We are placing complete trust in you, and what you decide is final. Whether you want to buy from multiple sources or a single source or multiplicity of sources, or all
it's totally your choice.
Your choice. And that worked wonderfully because they were able to, the supply chain of new type of components for the train. I'm not saying it went very smooth, but unless they had decided and owned it up, those things would not have come in time and train would not have been delivered. Correct. These two things come to my mind mainly. About lead people with empathy, trust the people who are in key positions.
And I think these are very valid points because they say that with love you can conquer everything.
Right.
Why do you need power? You need power for probably corruption and other things, but if you have love in your heart, you can, convince
Absolutely.
anyone, do whatever good you want to do it. You don't need to be powerful. And I think in your case, that love, that affection, that empathy, that trust you laid in your people, it helped you to deliver something which was not imaginable by anyone in the railway history, perhaps.
Well, I'll not go that far, but one caveat.
Yeah.
So, any organization is run by, they say a square root rule, but I don't agree. I would say about 25-30% of people who carry the organization on their shoulder. Others watch. 2 or 3% who would not work whatever you do. They are the back EMF of any organization. You need to deal with those 2-3% very strongly. And when I say deal, I don't mean try to punish them and keep them with you and make them further drag the organization. I mean either reform or throw them out.
Right.
There's no other midway. You may say that in government organization it's difficult to throw people out. I don't agree. Government has empowered us. We don't use that.
Use that power. True.
So caveat is that those who, as my uncle Shakespeare has said, that never place trust, never love somebody who does not deserve it. It's from Dialogue of Juliet, from Romeo and Juliet. So for them, you have to show your poison.
Yeah.
In the spirit of what
Totally.
Dinkar ji has said. Kshama shobhati us bhujang ko, jiske paas garal ho. Bhujang snake, garal poison. क्षमा जानती है क्षमा शोभती उस भुजंग को जिसके पास गरल हो उसका क्या जो दंतहीन विष रहित विनीत सरल हो. Which means people respect a poisonous snake. Love is fine, but those 2-3% you have to show your fangs to them.
You have to deal with them. You have to fight.
And mercy would come later. First, show your fangs.
Very true. Very true. So you had the government on board because of your vision and mission, and I think government has been very supportive. All the trains have been inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister, sir. So, and I think new projects are also coming. Currently, we have say 25 links running, and we have what more is in store.
So you see, 2 trains were manufactured when I was the GM in 2018-19, and both were put in commercial service in 2019. Now, as usually happens in a government organization, including some politicians perhaps, there was a period of negativity for almost 3 years. Modi ji, the Prime Minister himself, was mentioning about this train in his 15th August speech every time.
Wow.
And he called it beautifully that the train, after all, is just a train.
Yeah.
It's not Mangalyaan or Chandrayaan. Just
but
a train.
Still, it's solving problems.
So he used to call it as a train which symbolizes the aspirational and resurgent India.
Right.
So he was repeatedly talking about it. There was this negativity going on. At some point, he must have got an idea. He must have ordered or whatever happened. August 22, that means more than 3 years later, somehow the project picked up again.
Okay.
And purely because of his initiative, I must say. Others are all there to fulfill his wish.
Right.
So there are, I believe, about 26 or 27 trains already.
Trains running, yeah.
And there are plans to build hundreds more.
Wow.
Yeah. So over the course of next, let's say 4 or 5 years, hundreds of trains would come either through private manufacturer or government factories and so on.
And the old ones will be replaced. So in coming years...
The older trains would be replaced. And as slowly as the oldest types of coaches, as they start getting scrapped, these will come in way of replacing those. So things are looking up now.
Place.
Yeah.
Sudhanshuji, you are also a prolific writer and author of 7 to 8 books. You have also documented your Train 18 journey. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So it all started, I had some interest in writing, not that I was a great writer or anything, mainly in English.
Okay.
When I was posted in Bangalore as the divisional railway manager, So there somehow we started a mission. We called it SUFFER, which stands for Support and Appreciation for Art and Railways.
Oh, wow.
So it started with visual art, with art camps and getting artworks related to railways. Not that we specified it, but we put all these artists at a railway platform. It was quite natural that they would,
Draw people around.
whatever was around
the scene.
in their own abstract way or otherwise. So we did many camps, and then we opened the first art gallery at a railway station in Bangalore. I'm talking of 2011.
Okay.
So I, with my one colleague, Lily Pandey, who's in the Ministry of Culture now, Joint Secretary there. She was quite active in G20 recently. So we thought that we must record in a chronicle way our experiment with arts, and that was when we together wrote our first book.
Okay.
It was called the Art and Railways and the SUFFER experiment in Bangalore. Later, I carried that experiment in a factory as well, which was more unusual. Railway platform, railway trains are amenable for artists to cover, but not a factory. But we were able to do it in a factory in Bangalore again. It was called, it was a wheel making factory. So the book was called Reinventing the Wheel.
Right.
That was the second book. Then in Integral Coach Factory, the last posting, again we did many camps, 10 camps. We invited artists from Lucknow also.
Okay.
It was mainly Chennai artists, Tamil Nadu artists, but I used to invite artists from Lucknow also.
As well.
And we opened a large gallery. We did up the museum. That was covered in 2 books. Again, all these are coffee table books.
Okay.
And the 2 books on that. And then we did a lot to improve the green cover of Integral Coach Factory and make it carbon negative. That means producing more regenerative power than consuming.
Right.
That experiment was also covered in a book. It was called Greening of a Factory and the Improvement of the Habitat, the factory and its habitat. So these were 5 coffee table books. Then after retirement, after the train was launched, much against our expectations, it was just a train, as I keep saying, but the appreciation it got was tremendous.
Right.
Love from people, travelers, non-travelers alike. This was not something we expected at all.
But I think it changed the face of Indian Railways in some way,
in a way.
because people have been traveling abroad a lot. And when you travel those trains, those buses, you really feel that, why don't we have these kind of buses and trains in India? So in a way, you transformed that image, you revolutionized it in a big way.
Right, but when we were doing it, we thought we were just trying to make a good train, which the country deserves. But it was perhaps out of proportion, the kind of appreciation we got. And since I was a leader, I was in the limelight all the time. And but there was a great team behind the effort.
Yes.
Officers and staff. And I realized that they would largely remain unsung.
The unsung heroes, very true.
Plus, the story had to be told. That's when I wrote my 6th book. It's called My Train 18 Story.
Wow.
I have a copy here.
Nice.
This is it. And it basically not only tells the story, but it brings out the contribution made by these wonderful team members, each and every, to the extent possible. I've tried to call out all of them by names and their contribution.
You have not even left the chai wala, the coffee wala, all those
to the extent possible, yes. So this is available on Amazon. I have no commercial interest in its sale.
But people should know. It's a history. It's a kind of, an important aspect of Indian Railways which one should know.
And after that, so life is all about unfulfilled desires, but it doesn't mean that they all should remain unfulfilled.
Some of them can be fulfilled.
नहीं निगाह में मंजिल तो जुस्तजू ही सही, नहीं विसाल मयस्सर तो आरजू ही सही। सो ये तो आरजू की बात हो गई
जी।
ये आरजू भी बड़ी चीज है मगर हमदम, विसाल यार फकत आरजू की बात नहीं। तो वक्त मिल गया रिटायरमेंट के बाद कि जो आरजू वगैरह थी उसमें जितना जहां हो सके उसके बारे में कुछ करिए। तो मेरा इंटरेस्ट पोएट्री में था, मैं पोएट नहीं हूँ, बट आई एम अ ग्रेट फैन ऑफ शेक्सपियर एंड चाचा गालिब एंड अदर पोएट्स। तो मैंने एक एक्सपेरिमेंट शुरू किया, एक ग्रुप ज्वाइन किया गालिब लवर्स का। उसमें रोज एक शेर दिया जाता था और उसका इंटरप्रिटेशन आपको देना रहता था। तो अपनी काबिलियत से तो नहीं होता था, पढ़ पढ़ा के मैं भी उसमें लिखता था, वो कड़ी चलती रही। जब मैं ये लिखता था तो और लोगों के बजाय मैं उसमें साथ में एक इक्वलेंट या ऑपोजिट या नियर इक्वलेंट ढूंढता था कि शेक्सपियर के प्लेज में कुछ मिल जाए या सोनेट्स में कुछ मिल जाए। तो आई यूज्ड टू अटैच एन असाइड आल्सो विद दैट। तो ये जब 4-5 महीने हो गए तो किसी ने मुझे कहा कि भाई ये तुम्हारा बनता जा रहा है, इसको किताब के फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट करो। तो मुझे आइडिया पसंद आई, इसलिए नहीं कि आप या और लोग इस किताब को पढ़ेंगे, मुझे नहीं लगता बहुत लोग पढ़ेंगे, लेकिन वो लिखने में जो मजा था वो अनपैरेलल्ड था। तो वो मैंने किताब मेरी पब्लिकेशन में है इस वक्त। इट्स कॉल्ड शेक्सपियर एंड गालिब, A collation by their self-styled nephew। तो मैं अपने को इन लोग का नेव्यू, इनको सबको चाचा मानता हूँ। तो वो किताब एक छपने वाली है और करंट हैपनिंग्स के ऊपर कभी कभी जब लाइट मूड में मैं इन्हीं दोनों लोगों को लेके, चाचा गालिब और शेक्सपियर को लेके, उनको प्रेजेंट कॉन्टेक्स्ट में ले आके उनकी पोएट्री के थ्रू चीजें को एनालाइज करने लगता था। रेलवे के बारे में हो, यूपी का इलेक्शन हो, अभी इंडिया चांद पे पहुंचा वो हो, या एयर इंडिया में जो इंसिडेंट्स हुए, आपको मालूम है, बोलूंगा नहीं वो, उस टाइप, इस तरह की चीजों पे लिखना शुरू किया मैंने। ब्लॉग करना शुरू किया और वो कोई पतली 150 पेज की एक किताब करीब करीब तैयार है, वो पब्लिकेशन में जाएगी। और अगली एक, ये 8वीं होगी मेरी, 9वीं किताब एक मोरलेस वही सब्जेक्ट है। समझिए कि ये चाचा लोग पोएट्स ने ऐसी ऐसी बात वो कर गए हैं कि आपको बहुत इधर उधर जाने की जरूरत नहीं है। वो इतनी अच्छी बातें ये लोग कर गए हैं कि उसकी कुछ आप अगर उसका चुनिंदा कुछ शेर या वर्सेस लेके उसको मैनेजमेंट में अप्लाई करिए तो उससे बड़ा मैनेजमेंट का गुर आपको कहीं नहीं मिलेगा। तो मैनेजमेंट लेसन्स फ्रॉम पोएट्स, ये चल रही है किताब जो 9th होगी। तो लिखने में तो अभी यही है। और ब्लॉग, आई रेगुलरली ब्लॉग।
You blog, you write for other publications, newspapers?
Yes, I write for Hindu Business Line. Okay. I used to write for Pioneer. Occasionally I try to write for Deccan Herald, Indian Express also. तो ये मेरे रिटायरमेंट के बाद कोई 60-65 articles, but they are mainly about railways and the railway domain. So just to be in touch with that field, I keep writing. I try to write about 1 to 2 per month. Wow. जी.
So what a beautiful lesson from your life that एक तो आपने जो अपने लाइफ में जो किया उन सबको डॉक्यूमेंटेशन भी करते गए in the form of art, in the form of, so your regular work life has a touch of poetry and now write-up. So even after retirement, a lot of people after retirement they think chalo ho gaya, अब it's time to relax, enjoy, which is fine. I mean that's their idea, but you have been you've tried to be relevant and you're still giving back to the society in whichever way you can. So very important aspect to learn.
देखिए, गिविंग बैक टू सोसाइटी तो बहुत प्रिटेंशियस बात है। You are basically giving to yourself.
Yeah, but people are learning from it. Like अब गालिब बहुत लोगों को नहीं समझ में आता है। आप जो इंटरप्रिटेशन कर रहे हैं, अगर 2 लोग ने भी उसको पढ़ा तो their lives get touched by Shakespeare and Galib. So that is a kind of contribution, I would say.
ऐसा है कि एक किसी की WHO या किसी की रिपोर्ट आई है कि आजकल 60 to 72 or some such age is youth. तो फिजिकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से तो मैं नहीं समझता कि ये बोलना चाहिए। मुझे ही बड़े ऑर्थोपेडिक प्रॉब्लम है, मैं खेलता भी रहता हूँ, लेकिन mental faculties, I agree with them. और one of the reasons is, देखिए वर्क लाइफ में आप जितना भी केयरफ्री होने चाहें, बट वो वर्क प्रेशर होता ही है,
राइट,
एंड इट टेल्स ऑन योर क्रिएटिविटी. रिटायरमेंट के बाद उस टाइप के प्रेशर तो आप सेल्फ जितना इम्पोज कर लें उतना ही प्रेशर है.
राइट.
तो वो बड़ी अच्छी चीज है. रिटायरमेंट के बाद आपको मौका ऐसा मिल गया कि आप जिसको कहा जाए प्रेशर से रहित हैं, तो वो एक फायदा है. इसलिए मैं कह रहा हूँ, यू ट्राइंग टू हेल्प योरसेल्फ. नॉट ओनली आर यू बिजी, you are happy creating something up to your ability. Nothing extraordinary, but as per your ability.
So if I see you have had a good life, a fulfilled life, early on you said that you belong to the family of railways. So this path came naturally to you. Was there a conscious choice, or whether it was imposed on you? Because a lot of times in Indian families ये struggle भी होता है कि father अगर doctor है, engineer है, railways में, तो the child is also expected to do it. So how was your family atmosphere? How was it in your case?
So, 2-3 चीज मैं आपको बता दूं. एक तो पीपल्स प्रेसिडेंट एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम साहब कह गए हैं कि ड्रीम इज नॉट द थिंग दैट यू सी इन स्लीप, बट इज दैट थिंग दैट डज नॉट लेट यू स्लीप. बहुत अच्छी बात है. हम लोग आज अपने बच्चों से कहते हैं कि यार गो एंड लिव योर ड्रीम. तो आई डोंट फुली एग्री विद दैट. वो ड्रीम पहले लुक आफ्टर योर फैमिली, योर ब्रेड एंड बटर, योर वेल बीइंग. But don't let that dream die. Let it linger somewhere. Don't let it be extinguished. Someday an opportunity will come for you to realize your dream.
Right.
That is one. So, about my joining railways, let me be very frank. Just like 99% of the families those days, it was nothing about my dream being to join railways. I used to like railways and so on, but that time the aim used to be either join an engineering college or a medical college, or study further and appear for civil services. That's about what covered everything. That was the aim. So मेरा रुझान थोड़ा engineering की तरफ जरूर था, because maths लिया था मैंने, biology नहीं थी. So I got selected in engineering. पहले IIT में गए, वहाँ अच्छी ब्रांच नहीं थी, वो छोड़ के रुड़की में गए जो अब IIT हो गया है. और उसके बाद ये रेलवे के सिलेक्शन में होके रेलवे ज्वाइन कर ली. तो ये it was not like something that I had decided to do. It happened. As far as the career choice in life is concerned, so I'll not try to attach unnecessary value to that. But having joined railways, I must say that I don't have even an iota of regret, because warts and all, and we used to criticize all that going on and so on, but I loved every moment of it.
You enjoyed everything, and it
absolutely
was very fulfilling. So one last question, that people who use railways, what is your message to them? What are the few things that you tell them, because you have seen how much effort, how much hard work goes into designing a train and then, actually putting it on the tracks. So when we are using it, when we are the consumers, what should we do? How mindful we should do with this asset?
A very good question. So it's nothing to do with social strata. It's something to do with how your culture of a family and so on. You will find even Vande Bharat travelers who are the higher end travelers who pay 20% more fare.
Right.
When the train enters by the time it enters the destination, everywhere you would find, toilets dirty and garbage, some muck thrown around and so on. So my message to such people who are, from the higher strata of the society, the higher end travelers, is that wherever you are bound by discipline to be disciplined, you do that. But wherever there is more freedom, you forget it and keep your place which you are leaving behind dirty and so on. We must keep that in mind. You shouldn't do that.
Right.
There is another aspect. You would have heard of stone pelting.
Yeah.
Now, it's a very simple matter, one would say. We have even put cameras, external cameras, and through those cameras, culprits have been identified and punished also. That's one aspect. The roots are also in some kind of social discrimination or inequality that we have in the society. There are a large number of people from the lower strata who feel that the train is a symbol of richness of rich people. And they have that angst once again, they have that resentment.
Right.
And it translates into this form of, throwing a stone at the train and so on. So while, yes, you must catch the culprits and punish them, fine, but we have to also look at the whole issue with more empathy. And I absolutely feel that while higher end trains are fine, India is going to be a developed country, people can pay, it is competing with air and so on.
Right.
But we have to look at the common travelers also.
As well.
They are also your countrymen. Today they may not have that much money to pay for that ticket, but if we are going to be a developed country in Amrit Kal, we have to believe that they'll have 3-4 times money in their pocket in real terms, and they'll be able to afford it. But will we wait for that? No. I think we have to prepare ourselves for that and offer better facilities to them also. And that would make India developed, not that we have these islands of nice trains and other people travel in abject conditions.
Very, very rightly pointed out, because the country can grow if everyone is growing. You can't have the plumber, the gardener and all the other people not growing and just the rich class growing. Absolutely. Everyone has to have the same standard of living, as we say. So the train should also... I was reading somewhere wherein some person, just the train was standing Vande Bharat and he had nature's call and he just had it, and then he had to pay the fine and lose a lot of things. So I think those checks and balances are there, but you have to take care that why these kind of incidents happen in the first place.
Yes.
If there's a good washroom, he'll not go to the train to
exactly
do it.
Well said. Absolutely.
So 18 months you delivered Vande Bharat, and as you said that you had to win the trust of the people. You had to have empathy with the government officials and all of that. Any other challenges that you had to face in conceptualizing and delivering the project?
Yeah, again, very good question. So there are many engineering related challenges and so on. I don't think I'll go into that.
Okay.
But something that can interest everyone, especially youngsters, is something I would like to say. So I told you that we had to get this sanction from the ministry.
Right.
And there was negativity. People thought we were spinning a yarn. And so it was a stage where we were all excited, but we had no sanction. So I went to the chairman railway board, who had posted me in ISIF. I knew him. I told him, you are the chairman, others are stopping you, but you are the chairman. Give us a sanction for only 2 trains. You import whatever you want. Who am I to stop you?
Right.
But we will build this train at 1/3 the cost of import. This happened in March of 2017. And I said, you are retiring in July 18. So we get about, 15 months or so. We will build that train and you will come and cut the ribbon.
Cut the ribbon. Wow.
That moved him a little. But after that, what won the day was this simple, I would say it a maxim, and that is, pride enhances you.
Very true.
It's a feel good. You look at everyone with happiness.
Yes.
That is pride.
Yeah.
Vanity diminishes you.
True.
Because you try to belittle others to elevate yourself.
Right.
At that stage, I said, I am going to grab your feet and not leave it till you give me the sanction. Now, people ask me, that gentleman is no more, bless his soul. But people ask me, you actually grabbed his feet? I said, that's between me and him. But the spirit, by grabbing his feet, I was giving myself pride. Because I would get the sanction, go back to my people that here is the sanction.
Yes.
And by grabbing his feet, I was killing my vanity, which somebody would kill anyway.
Right.
Someday. So it's better you kill it yourself today.
Very true.
So this was the biggest challenge to get the sanction, which we were able to get in this way. There's another one which I would like to point out, and that is, you have the capability, you can do it, but this kind of train has never been built,
right?
Never been designed. So the natural question was that you will retire, train may fail or not work, so who will be the scapegoat?
Right.
I said, okay, I'll retire in 18. What can they do to a retired person? Although they tried. But what better scapegoat than this? But nevertheless, I said, that's the problem. My uncle Shakespeare has said that our doubts are traitors which make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt.
Very true.
या गिरते हैं शहसवार ही मैदान जंग में, वो तिफल क्या गिरे जो घुटनों के बल चले. तो जब आप अटेम्प्ट ही नहीं करेंगे तो सक्सीड कहाँ से करेंगे? लेकिन क्यों अटेम्प्ट आप नहीं करते हैं? बिकॉज द वे वी डिफाइन सक्सेस. हाउ डू वी डिफाइन सक्सेस? सक्सेस इज द आउटकम. And if the outcome is bad, then you have failed. Whereas, if you have given something, whatever you are doing, your project, whatever, if you have given your passion, your commitment, your hard work, your everything, you have succeeded. Outcome is not in your hands.
Very true.
Outcome may be a failure. 1, 2, 3, but these failures are stepping stones to your success. So this is what I told the people. Right. Don't be afraid. We are here all together. We will try our best. Outcome is not in our hands. But we'll have the satisfaction of having given the best. And hope it would succeed. So as I said, fortune favors the brave. We did succeed in first attempt. There was always a possibility that it would not have succeeded the way it did. But then they would have gone back to drawing board and worked again to make it succeed.
You gave your best, and as you said, in other words, फल की चिंता मत करो, कर्म करते जाओ.
Absolutely.
So that is what you were doing in your tenure.
As long as you have done your best.
Yes, so very true. Thank you so much, Sudhanshu ji, for coming here. It's an absolute honor having you, talking to you, taking inspiration from your beautiful life journey. And I'm sure India is on the right track when it comes to railways, and very soon it will be, for the common masses, as you said, for them also we need to have such kind of luxuries so that they don't feel left out. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and let me tell you something that my uncle again has said in Trials and Procedure, that things one are done, but the joy's soul lies in the doing. So you see, thing was done long back. But when good people like you invite me to relive the story, I'm able to relive that joy again. So thank you very much. And it was sheer pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you so much.